Picture yourself walking out into your garden on a quiet morning, taking in the sight of strong, thriving plants. Leaves clean and unblemished, stems smooth and firm, no holes gnawed through the foliage, no sticky residue left behind, no clusters of tiny insects draining the life from your crops, no caterpillars silently consuming everything you've worked to grow, no chemical sprays coating the air, no harsh treatments burning the soil, no exhausting, never-ending war against pests. Just a garden that sustains itself through its own natural balance. It may sound like wishful thinking, but it is genuinely within reach. Certain plants do far more than simply occupy space in the ground. They actively defend the space around them. They release natural fragrances, oils, and organic compounds that many insects find intolerable. Others draw in helpful predators that seek out and eliminate pests on your behalf. Some even emit signals so confusing to insects that they lose their ability to locate the very plants they came to attack. This method is known as companion planting, and when applied with intention, it becomes one of the most effective natural pest management strategies available to any gardener. Today, you will explore 10 companion plants that naturally discourage pests from settling in your garden. When positioned with care, these plants can transform your growing space from a vulnerable target into a self-sustaining, protected ecosystem. Let's begin with one of the most dependable natural defenders of all, marigolds. At first glance, marigolds appear to be nothing more than cheerful, sun-colored flowers. In reality, they function as a sophisticated pest management tool that works simultaneously above and below the soil surface, making them among the most valuable companion plants a gardener can cultivate. Starting underground, marigold roots release natural chemical compounds into the surrounding soil that gradually suppress root knot nematodes. These microscopic organisms attack plant roots from beneath, causing swelling, stunted development, and dramatically reduced harvests. Because nematodes are essentially invisible to the naked eye, many gardeners spend entire seasons wondering why their crops are underperforming, never identifying the real source of the problem. Marigolds act as a living soil treatment, slowly reducing nematode populations over time simply by being present. Above the ground, marigolds provide an entirely separate layer of defense. Their blossoms emit a distinctly musky fragrance that a wide range of insects find deeply unpleasant. This scent actively interferes with the way pests navigate toward food, since most insects depend on airborne chemical signals to identify and locate their preferred host plants. As a direct result, pests including aphids, whiteflies, beetles, leafhoppers, and certain species of caterpillar become far less likely to establish themselves near marigolds. Among the available varieties, French marigolds stand out as particularly powerful. They generate stronger root chemicals for nematode suppression and carry a more concentrated aroma that effectively masks the scent of neighboring vegetables. Marigolds also serve as magnets for beneficial garden visitors, the natural predators that keep pest populations in check. Their vivid flowers draw in ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps, and hoverflies, all of which actively prey on aphids, larvae, and other common garden nuisances. In this way, marigolds do not merely push harmful insects away, they help construct a living, breathing, natural defense network throughout the garden. There is one more advantage worth noting. The sharp, persistent scent of marigolds can discourage browsing animals, such as rabbits and deer, which often avoid heavily planted marigold areas entirely. To extract the greatest possible benefit, place marigolds deliberately along the outer edges of garden beds, between rows of vegetables, near tomatoes, peppers, and beans, and around any entrances to growing areas. Think of marigolds as the garden's security infrastructure, offering protection from the soil upward through the surface and outward along every border. Lavender. Lavender functions almost like an invisible, aromatic shield stretched across the garden. Its soft, silvery green leaves and delicate purple flower spikes produce rich, aromatic oils, primarily linalool and linaloyl acetate. While these compounds register as soothing and pleasant to human senses, many insects experience them as overwhelming and actively avoid areas where lavender is present. Lavender can discourage a broad range of pests, among them moths, fleas, flies, mosquitoes, and certain beetles. Moths are especially susceptible. Adult moths depend on scent signals to locate suitable places to deposit their eggs, and lavender's powerful fragrance disrupts that navigational process entirely. This is the same principle that has led people to use dried lavender for centuries to shield stored clothing from moth damage. In the garden, its fragrance deters the moths that would otherwise lay caterpillar eggs directly onto leafy vegetable crops. Mosquitoes and flies are similarly repelled, as lavender's aroma overwhelms the scent trails they typically follow. This makes it an especially practical choice near patios, garden pathways, and outdoor seating areas where human comfort matters. But lavender's contributions do not end with repelling unwanted visitors. Its long-lasting flower spikes are extraordinarily attractive to bees, butterflies, and hoverflies. These pollinators are absolutely essential to productive gardens. Greater pollination activity translates directly into improved fruit and vegetable yields for crops such as tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, squash, berries, and fruit trees of all kinds. So lavender simultaneously protects crops and enhances harvests, a genuinely rare combination. Another valuable quality is lavender's capacity to flourish in difficult conditions. It thrives under full sun, tolerates dry soil, and asks very little of the ground it grows in. This makes it an ideal candidate for garden edges, borders, and areas that receive limited irrigation. In many gardens, it functions as a fragrant living boundary, beautiful, resilient, and quietly protective. The most effective planting positions for lavender include near patios and doorways to reduce mosquito presence, along the outer margins of garden beds, and close to crops that depend heavily on pollinator activity. Lavender proves that effective pest protection can be something the entire garden benefits from, right down to its fragrance and beauty. Basil. Basil may carry the reputation of a gentle kitchen herb, but in the garden, it operates as a potent natural barrier. Its leaves are dense with essential oils, including eugenol, linalool, and citronellol, which together produce its signature sweet and spicy fragrance. While people find that scent appealing, many insects experience it as disorienting and intensely repellent. Most garden pests navigate by smell rather than sight. They do not visually scan a garden from a distance looking for tomatoes or peppers. Instead, they detect host plants through airborne chemical signals. Basil actively interferes with that process. When planted alongside vegetables such as tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, or leafy greens, it releases aromatic compounds that blur and disrupt an insect's ability to clearly recognize the target plant beside it. The effect resembles static interference on a radio signal. The destination is present, but the directions have become impossible to read. This disruption can meaningfully reduce problems with aphids, whiteflies, thrips, mosquitoes, flies, and tomato hornworms. Tomato hornworms develop from the larvae of certain moth species. The adult moths locate tomato plants through scent before selecting them as egg-laying sites. When basil grows in proximity, its pervasive aroma masks the tomato's chemical signature, making those plants significantly harder to identify as targets. Basil provides this protection through both its leaves and the overall aromatic presence it establishes in the surrounding air. It can deter insects from depositing eggs nearby, and its root system grows gently without competing aggressively with neighboring crops, which makes it an exceptionally cooperative companion plant. There is an additional advantage. As basil begins to flower, it attracts beneficial insects, including bees and hoverflies, whose larvae are among the most efficient natural predators of aphids. Basil, therefore, does not only repel harmful insects, it helps reinforce the garden's entire natural defense system from within. To make the most of basil's protective effect, thoughtful placement is essential. A single plant produces limited influence. Basil works at its best when grown in generous clusters, positioned between tomato plants, used along the borders of garden beds, or placed in containers near crops that are particularly vulnerable. The greater the concentration of basil, the stronger and more disorienting the aromatic disruption becomes for any pest attempting to navigate through it. Beyond everything it contributes to cooking, basil works quietly and persistently to protect some of the most valuable plants in your garden at the same time. Mint. Mint does not merely suggest that insects leave, it strongly compels them to. Its leaves carry exceptionally high concentrations of menthol-rich oils that generate an intense, pervasive fragrance. While humans associate mint with freshness and vitality, many pests find it overpowering, even hostile to their senses. The fragrance interferes directly with their sensory systems and makes the area feel inhospitable. Mint is particularly effective against ants, aphids, flea beetles, cabbage moths, mosquitoes, and flies. Ants rely on chemical scent trails to communicate, navigate, and coordinate their movements. Mint disrupts those pathways, effectively severing their communication network. When ants lose their ability to follow established trails, they frequently abandon the area entirely. This matters enormously because ants routinely protect aphid colonies in exchange for the honeydew aphids produce. By discouraging ants, mint indirectly weakens aphid activity across the garden as well. Cabbage moths represent another significant concern that mint addresses well. These insects deposit their eggs on crops such as cabbage, kale, and broccoli. Mint's intense fragrance helps conceal the natural scent these plants emit, reducing the likelihood of egg laying and significantly lowering future caterpillar damage. At the same time, mint plays a positive role in supporting beneficial insects. When it comes into flower, it draws in hoverflies, parasitic wasps, and predatory beetles, all of which actively prey on aphids and other soft-bodied garden pests. This gives mint a dual function. It discourages harmful insects while simultaneously encouraging the natural predators that keep them in check. Many gardeners also observe that rodents tend to avoid areas carrying strong mint fragrance. While mint alone is not a definitive solution for animals like mice or voles, its scent can contribute meaningfully to a broader garden protection strategy. There is, however, one important characteristic to understand before planting mint freely. It spreads aggressively through underground runners that expand quickly and can overwhelm neighboring plants if left unchecked. Because of this tendency, mint is most effectively grown in containers. Placing those containers near brassicas, tomatoes, garden entrances, or vulnerable planting areas allows you to benefit fully from its scent without surrendering control of its growth. When positioned with this in mind, mint becomes a powerful and dynamic line of defense, functioning less like a simple herb and more like a living aromatic barrier, protecting everything around it. Rosemary. Rosemary stands in the garden like a sturdy, aromatic sentinel posted along the outer edge. Its narrow, needle-like leaves are richly concentrated with aromatic compounds, including camphor and cineol, resinous substances that create a commanding fragrance and interfere with the way many insects identify their preferred host plants from a distance. Rosemary can help deter a meaningful range of pests, including cabbage moths, carrot flies, bean beetles, various fly species, and mosquitoes. Cabbage moths depend on scent signals to locate brassica crops, and the intense aromatic presence of rosemary helps mask the natural smell of plants like cabbage, kale, and broccoli, making those crops far more difficult for moths to pinpoint as egg-laying destinations. Xuan, carrot flies, which deposit eggs in the soil near carrot roots, where their larvae cause significant damage, are also affected. Rosemary planted in proximity disrupts the chemical cues these insects follow to navigate, reducing the frequency of infestation. Xuan, bean beetles, which feed on foliage and lay eggs on bean plants, tend to avoid settling in areas where rosemary's fragrance is dominant. Xuan, because rosemary develops as a structured, woody, upright shrub, it serves an architectural purpose in garden design as well. It forms semi-permanent bushes that can define bed boundaries, create aromatic barriers, offer some protection from wind, and maintain year-round greenery in temperate climates. Xuan, rosemary thrives in full sun and well-drained, drier soils, making it ideally suited for outer garden borders where irrigation is limited. It provides protection without competing heavily for water resources. Xuan, when rosemary blooms, its flowers become an important source of nectar for bees and other beneficial insects, adding active pollinator support to its already substantial protective role. Xuan. The most productive placement locations include along garden perimeters, near cabbage family vegetables, in close proximity to carrots and beans, and in the corners of raised beds. Xuan, drought-tolerant, long-lived, and consistently aromatic through every season, rosemary functions as a low-maintenance defensive plant that keeps working year after year without asking much in return. Xuan, chives. Chives may appear small and unassuming, but their chemical properties are quietly formidable. Xuan. As members of the allium family, chives produce sulfur-based compounds closely related to those found in onions and garlic. Xuan. These compounds are released continuously into the surrounding air and soil, creating a chemical environment that many insects instinctively prefer to avoid. Xuan. Chives can help discourage aphids, Japanese beetles, and carrot rust flies, among others. Xuan. Aphids are particularly sensitive to concentrated aromatic signals, and chives interfere with their ability to locate host plants like tomatoes, lettuce, and roses. Xuan. Reducing aphid populations also has the indirect effect of discouraging ant activity, since ants habitually guard and cultivate aphid colonies in exchange for the honeymoon they secrete. Xuan. Japanese beetles, which cause damage by feeding on leaves and flowers, are generally less attracted to areas where allium scents are dominant. While chives alone cannot eliminate a heavy infestation, they reduce the probability of beetles choosing to settle in the vicinity. Xuan. Carrot rust flies represent another important target. These insects lay their eggs in soil adjacent to carrot plants, and the resulting larvae tunnel through the roots, causing substantial damage. The sulfur aroma produced by chives creates confusion for these flies and can noticeably reduce egg-laying activity in the surrounding soil. Xuan. Chives also contribute positively to beneficial insect populations. When they bloom, their distinctive globe-shaped purple flower heads produce nectar that draws predatory wasps, hoverflies, and bees. Xuan. Hoverfly larvae in particular are highly effective at consuming aphids, meaning chives help sustain the very insects that naturally regulate common pest populations. Xuan. Another advantage is that chives are perennial across many growing regions. Once established, they return reliably each year, gradually forming wider clumps that require minimal attention. Xuan. Productive planting locations include around tomato plants, beside carrots, near roses, beneath fruit trees, and along the borders of garden beds. Xuan. Chives can even be used to prepare a mild natural deterrent spray by steeping chopped leaves in water and applying the resulting liquid around vulnerable plants. Shen. Small in stature but steady in effect, chives provide consistent, long-term protection, both above the soil and within it. Shen. Nasturtiums. Nasturtiums operate through an entirely different strategy from most companion plants. Shen. Rather than simply repelling pests, they function as trap crops, drawing insects away from more valuable vegetables by offering themselves as an easier and more appealing target. Shen. Their tender, succulent leaves and stems are highly attractive to a wide variety of common garden pests. To insects navigating the garden, nasturtiums present themselves as an effortless and desirable food source. Shen. By concentrating pest activity on themselves, they shield surrounding crops from heavy feeding pressure. Shen. Nasturtiums are particularly effective at attracting aphids, flea beetles, squash bugs, cabbage caterpillars, and various beetle species. Shen. Aphids are especially drawn to them. When nasturtiums are planted nearby, aphid populations frequently accumulate densely on those plants, while neighboring vegetables such as beans, peppers, and cucumbers remain comparatively untouched. This concentration makes monitoring and intervention significantly simpler. Shen. Because pest pressure clusters on the nasturtiums themselves, crops including cucumbers, squash, zucchini, beans, broccoli, and cabbage benefit from markedly better protection. Shen. Nasturtiums also spread across the soil surface, forming a natural ground cover that helps reduce weed establishment and slow the evaporation of soil moisture, contributing to the overall health of the garden. Shen. Beyond attracting pests, nasturtiums also support beneficial insects. Their vivid blossoms in shades of orange, red, and yellow attract hoverflies, bees, and predatory wasps. Shen. Hoverfly larvae are efficient aphid hunters, which means nasturtiums help establish a natural balance between pest pressure and the insects that counteract it. Shen. Effective uses include planting along bed edges, interplanting with cucumbers or squash, allowing them to cascade from raised beds, and positioning them near brassica crops. Shen. When pest concentrations become excessive, infested nasturtium growth can be trimmed away or removed entirely, taking a substantial portion of the pest population with it in a single action. Shen. Nasturtiums also happen to be edible. Their leaves carry a pleasant, peppery bite, and their colorful flowers add a lively, spicy note to fresh salads. Rather than standing guard at a distance, nasturtiums step forward and absorb the pressure that would otherwise fall on the plants you value most. Shen. Garlic. Garlic acts as a formidable natural barrier in living plant form. Shen. Its protective strength comes primarily from sulfur-based compounds, especially allicin, which are released when the plant tissue is disturbed or as part of the ongoing chemical activity occurring naturally in the soil and surrounding environment. Shen. These compounds generate potent biological signals that a broad range of insects and certain plant diseases actively avoid. Shen. Garlic can help deter aphids, spider mites, Japanese beetles, thrips, and some caterpillar species. Shen. Aphids and spider mites depend heavily on plant scent and chemical cues to identify suitable feeding sites, and garlic disrupts those signals effectively, making neighboring crops appear less accessible and less appealing. Spider mites, which flourish particularly in hot and dry conditions, are especially responsive to the presence of strong aromatic plants. When garlic is established around vulnerable crops, it can measurably reduce mite pressure in those areas. Shen. Japanese beetles also tend to avoid feeding heavily in areas where garlic is growing. While it does not eliminate them entirely, it lowers the probability of significant damage to nearby plants. Shen. Beyond its effects on insects, garlic's natural compounds may also help suppress certain fungal conditions in the soil and on plant surfaces, supporting stronger overall plant health in ways that extend well beyond pest control alone. Shen. Productive companion planting combinations include roses, where garlic helps reduce aphid pressure, fruit trees, where it adds broad-spectrum pest deterrents, and leafy greens, tomatoes, peppers, and strawberries. Garlic is especially effective when planted in rings around trees or spaced regularly between vegetable crops, functioning like small but persistent protective markers distributed throughout the soil. Xuan. An additional benefit is that certain burrowing pests, including voles, dislike the intense fragrance, giving garlic a mild but useful underground protective dimension. And unlike many companion plants, garlic provides a direct harvest, offering both protection and food, and making it one of the most efficient plants a gardener can include. Xian. Some gardeners strengthen its effect by preparing garlic-infused sprays from crushed cloves steeped in water and applying them directly to foliage. Even without this extra step, simply growing garlic in the vicinity provides steady, ongoing natural protection. Xuan. Garlic may not be dramatic in appearance, but it stands as one of the most reliably effective silent defenders in the garden, working through the soil, the air, and the biological environment simultaneously. Xian. Thyme may look delicate and low-growing, but in the garden, it functions as a continuous, low-level defense system that never stops working. Xuan. This herb produces aromatic essential oils whose compounds many insects find disorienting and unpleasant. When thyme leaves are warmed by direct sunlight, brushed by moving air, or disturbed by touch, their fragrance intensifies noticeably. Xuan. While people appreciate the scent, many pests perceive it as a disruptive interference with their navigational senses. Thyme is particularly useful against cabbage worms, whiteflies, and certain moth species that deposit eggs on leafy crops. Xuan. Cabbage moths rely on scent to identify plants such as cabbage, broccoli, kale, and cauliflower as suitable egg-laying destinations. When thyme grows in the surrounding area, it helps obscure those scent signals and makes it considerably harder for moths to confirm suitable sites, which ultimately leads to fewer caterpillars developing on those crops. Xuan. Whiteflies are similarly deterred by strong aromatic environments, and thyme can reduce their tendency to settle and reproduce on nearby plant surfaces. Beyond its scent-based protection, thyme also delivers structural benefits to the garden. It grows low and spreads into dense, compact mats that shade the soil surface, slow water evaporation, suppress weed growth, and support the communities of beneficial organisms living just below the surface. This ground cover creates a more stable and health-supporting microenvironment around crops. Stronger, healthier plants carry a natural resistance to pest pressure, which means thyme indirectly reinforces the resilience of everything growing near it. Xuan. The most effective placement positions include around cabbage family vegetables, along the borders of garden beds, between stepping stones, and near garden pathways, where foot traffic and brushing contact release more fragrance. Xuan. Thyme flowers also draw pollinators and small beneficial insects, including the tiny parasitic wasps that play a significant role in managing pest populations. Because thyme is drought-tolerant and perennial across many growing regions, it continues delivering protection year after year once established. Plant it a single time and it provides enduring support, compact, consistent, and steady, like a permanent guardian quietly watching over the garden. Dill. Where thyme supports ground-level defense, dill strengthens the garden's aerial protection from above. Dill does not primarily function by repelling pests. Instead, it works by drawing in the beneficial insects that actively seek out and eliminate them. Its tall, graceful stems and umbrella-shaped flower clusters, known as umbels, offer accessible nectar and pollen to a wide range of small predatory species that would otherwise have no reason to linger. Xuan. Dill attracts parasitic wasps, hoverflies, ladybugs, and lacewings. These insects are among the most powerful natural pest control agents a garden can have. Xuan. Parasitic wasps are especially remarkable in their effectiveness. They deposit their eggs directly inside the bodies of pests, such as caterpillars and hornworms. When those eggs hatch, the developing larvae consume the host insect from within, ultimately killing it entirely. This provides extraordinarily targeted biological control, which is precisely why dill proves so valuable in gardens where tomato hornworms or similar caterpillar pests are a recurring concern. Shun. Hoverflies are another critical ally in this system. Adult hoverflies feed on the nectar dill provides, then deposit their eggs in close proximity to aphid colonies. When the larvae emerge, they immediately begin feeding on those aphids, making dill an exceptionally productive support plant for managing soft-bodied pest pressure throughout the garden. Shun. Dill can help reduce populations of tomato hornworms, cabbage loopers, aphids, and a range of other soft-bodied insects. The most productive companion placements include near tomatoes, around cabbage and other brassicas, close to lettuce, and beside cucumber plants. Shun. To maximize dill's value, allow it to reach full flower. Many gardeners harvest it before blooming, but once dill produces its open flower clusters, it becomes dramatically more effective as a hub for pest-controlling insects. Dill also adds vertical diversity to the garden's structure. Its tall, airy growth creates layered habitat when combined with lower herbs and medium-height vegetables, and that diversity encourages a richer, more varied community of beneficial insects to take up residence. Shun. Dill frequently self-seeds as well. After the first planting, new plants often appear in the following season without any additional effort, helping to sustain the predator population continuously over time. In straightforward terms, time works at ground level to confuse and discourage pests. Dill works from above to invite the predators that remove them. Shun. Together, they contribute to a garden ecosystem where pests may occasionally appear but rarely gain the upper hand. Shun.